everybody. Welcome to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast. It is Friday. We are coming off a great day. I'm very excited to get through to some picks for the weekend. I'm working on my UFC article as well. So yeah, a lot of exciting things to go through, and I've also got to learn to stop saying But first and foremost, let's bring in Drew. How you doing, man? Good morning.
I'm doing really well in college basketball. For the pre picks, we did go 1-2, but I know I called some at the last minute for the Hawaii -1.5 in our chat. Day did well. I also did some good live bets, so that helped. But it was a good day in college basketball. Memphis had their chances personally. In my personal opinion, they went down later on and they brought it within three, but something they didn't take advantage of, and I know I mentioned to you, Stern, was they had they were in the bonus and Wichita, and then they had no fouls, right? So and like 6 minutes in, but for some reason they kept trying to, chuck threes up. It's like if you are in the bonus, you want to make sure you drive to the paint, make the ref call a foul. Like you're 6 minutes in, and then you only accrue one foul the rest of the way. I'm not going to even blame the rest for that not calling fouls in Memphis. 'Cause Memphis was just trying to take jump shots and not driving to the paint. When Wichita State couldn't stop that, and that's how they got back in the game. But shout out to Wichita State for that win. Shout out to Michigan State for a very big win at Purdue. The under didn't hit. I was surprised about how high scoring it was. We missed by about like 6 points or so. Great big win for Michigan State, but hey, Temple came through. It was very sweaty, and that
That
indeed.
was so
And
sweaty.
the guy, what was it? Like Temple was up one with like 46 seconds left, and somehow it got to the point where they might have been down five, and the guy missed the free throw, and then he got the rebound, and then he missed the layup, and I was very lucky. I was hoping there was another foul, and there wasn't. When it came to that, we had some big wins in the Big West. I was a big fan of Irvine, and Irvine had a big win at the buzzer. I don't know if you've seen that, Stern, but you should rewatch that. That was like very suspicious and crazy. A guy with 1.3 seconds left, Irvine at CSUN, who was tied with them in Hawaii. There was 1.3 seconds left. They're inbounding it on Irvine's side, and Irvine passed it to a guy. There was a guy left wide open in the paint. They're going to the paint. I understand they can shoot a jump shot with that, but wide open. And the guy, he almost missed the layup, probably because of nerves, but he made it. And Irvine got a big win. Now they're tied with Hawaii. Hawaii got a big win at UC Davis for the leader in the Big West Conference. So things are going to be interesting come down there. Some big upsets, well, some big unexpected things that we saw. Liberty lost. I did not expect them to lose. I didn't bet on them, but I know other people did. That was very disappointed by them. I feel like they needed to kind of like win that game. And then, but yeah, we have some good games today though, and I'm looking forward to it. But that was my recap from yesterday.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I on my picks, I went 2-1 with the one loss being a half a unit play on the Lightning. They did score 5 goals, but that wasn't enough to win. Delaware team total came in thanks to an overtime. That was crazy. That the final minute of that game of regular time was just absolutely nuts. The Spurs demolished the Nets. No surprise there. And the Lakers dominated the Suns all game long, only to give up the lead in the fourth quarter. But they did do enough to get a late push to cover the spread. So, gonna take the 2-0 on the full unit plays. I'll take the one loss on the half unit play, and we'll move on with our day. Very excited to see what's going on tonight. There's so much to get to. Let's open it up to college basketball though first. What do you got for us tonight?
Oh, sweet. Yeah, college basketball. I posted my picks for you in our chat together.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
So I actually have, as you see, I have for my double up, I have a college basketball and basketball duo. So I'll start with that if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Uh,
I see that. I like it a lot.
yeah, I did Miami, Ohio halftime, full time. It's like -260 with Knicks money line. You get to like -120 something. Um, Personally, I think Miami, Ohio is just a much better team. They keep getting disrespected. As everyone knows they're 28-0, and people make the joke like the OH, they're Miami, Ohio. But they're a better team than Western Michigan. Like their spread keeps getting disrespected, even though they're top five in the country. And guys, there's 360 teams, by the way, 360 plus teams. They're top five in the country covering the spread. And people say let him back in the game, but they let him back in the game just enough to cover the spread. But in my personal opinion, I think they win this game wire to wire. I wouldn't be surprised if they're up by 20 at half, personally. Yeah, I just like Miami in this place. And then when it comes to the Knicks, I'll talk about basketball later, but it's part of my main play. I love the Knicks in this spot at the Bucks. Of course, Giannis is not still here, and I just think the Knicks are a better team, and the Knicks are going in different directions as the Bucks. The Bucks have shown some fight. Um, I will say they have some fight at home. They score a lot of points, but their defense has absolutely been atrocious. Uh, the Knicks are coming off a loss on Tuesday against the Cavs on the road. It was actually their this is their third game of their road trip because I think they only have a 3 game road trip. They did beat the Rockets at home. They did beat the Bulls, and they just lost to the Cavs. And I like this bounce back win for them. I think that the Bucks won't have any answer for the Knicks, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, you don't have to keep saying personal opinion. Your everything that you say is your personal
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I don't know. What do you think about the
Sorry,
Knicks in
I
that
don't mean to
case?
pick on you.
Oh, you're good.
I have plenty of things that I say that I'm trying to filter out of my mouth. I had a great talk with Sia Najad, which, by the way, if you're not following him, he just hit 100-1 first round leader on Smotherman. I only put $10, but that netted me $1,000, and that's the second one in a row. 3 out of the last 7 PGA starts he's gotten. But anyway, that's a tangent here. I love the Knicks here. I do think that they have enough of the enough big men to dominate the floor, and I think that they're going to be able to get it done against a very feisty Bucks team. They have been putting up fights.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's enough here.
They score a lot at home. Like I remember I mentioned before when it covered. Now it's 11 out of the last 13 games at home, at their home. The over has covered. Personally, that's why that 219.5 was intriguing. But the Knicks defense scares me kind of to do that kind of thing there. So I like the money line pair with Miami, Ohio, halftime, full time. So
Yeah, I really love that. I just played that at minus 141 over on DK. And I think that if you shop your books a little bit, you could probably get a better price on Caesars or something.
I'm using a boost on Fanatics, so I'm cheating a little bit. I'm using a boost to bring it to plus money. I have a 25% boost where I can put
Nice.
it
Yeah.
even on.
I do eventually want to get to a place where we can start putting in bets based on the boosts so that our
Yeah.
listeners can kind of follow along. But in general, obviously, any plays that we give out, we're not giving out the plays with the boosted price. If you get
Yep.
the boost, that's just
Exactly.
a bonus.
Yep. That's why I was making sure on Fanatics. I saw it like minus 122 on DK. I saw minus 141. So, and also these can subject to change, guys. The people that are listening, if you guys want to wait, you can. It's never bad to take the juice odds because remember, money is money. You know, at the end of the day, whether you win half of or whatever, like if you see money on the ground, you'd pick it up, of course. So, my other play. So I have 3 more. My other play that I have. Uh, Wait, where is it? Right here. Oh yeah, it's going to be George Washington is facing Dayton. Dayton has been on a roll. This is the A10 conference, guys. This is the conference that like St. Louis is in. Everybody knows who St. Louis and like VCU. George Washington had a really good start to the season and they tailed a little bit and then they picked it back up. George Washington is home. It's kind of a revenge game. I know Memphis didn't get the revenge, but we saw other teams, of course, did. But something we've seen though recently is when a team gets a big win recently against St. Louis, they usually struggle coming. Like we just saw, remember Rhode Island beat uh, St. Louis at their home, and then they just get smoked by St. Bonaventure yesterday when they're, in my opinion, thought they were the better team, Rhode Island. And then George Washington has been a machine at home. They can score at will. They've had some really good wins. They smoked George Mason. They could have beat VCU, but they blew a lead there. Dayton has, they beaten St. Louis. They beaten George Mason. But I just think this will be a problem for Dayton. George Mason is going to be motivated, and I know 3.5 is scary, but I do not mind 4 points in this. I think George Washington wins by probably 10 plus points personally. Just this is just a bad spot, I think, for Dayton.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Model shows that there's a little bit of value on that number. I'm willing to play. I think FanDuel has the best number right now on that.
What does FanDuel have?
I think it's minus 2.5 at minus 120.
Yeah, I can see Dayton gaining steam in that aspect. I can see Dayton gaining steam. It might drop down a little more. I didn't want to take the juiced money line in that case. But yeah, like usually when George Washington wins, like I like looking at that, by the way. Usually when they win, it's by like 4 to 5. It's like 4 to 5 or more points. So that's very interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah, and I just double checked. It is -2.5 on FanDuel at minus
Okay.
120, and I took it there.
That's great call right there. My next one, this might be one of my favorites of the days. Is I know I mentioned this. This is kind of reverse what I'm saying. Is usually like I like revenge, but a lot of people next to my Akron Zips. A lot of people think Akron's better than Miami, Ohio. Like by Ken Palm, they are by their rating, but I personally think Miami, Ohio, and Akron are the class of the A10. Not the A10, the MAC. But because I though Akron's only loss in the conference is Miami, Ohio, but it was at Miami, Ohio by 3. It's unfortunate that we're not going to see these teams face again, Miami, Ohio, and Akron. I wish they scheduled a home and away for them, but we might see them in the tournament. But Akron's at Kent State. Kent State's 12-3 of the conference, but all 3 of their losses for Kent State is 2 of them are to Miami, Ohio, and Akron. Last time these 2 teams played, Akron just outclassed them. Akron shot terribly, and they still won by double digits. I think Akron's just a much better team than Kent State. Kent State has really struggled with shooting the 3. The way to beat Akron is be able to shoot the 3. Akron can pretty much score at will, even on the road. They've only lost, I think, 1 game on the road, and that was to Miami, Ohio. Um, so yeah, give me Akron over Kent State here. I think this is a big mismatch for them. Though the only thing that they can bank on with Kent State is controlling the paint. I think this spread should probably be higher. It makes me happier that it is at 3.5 and it's not a pick 'em because then I would be more scared to do it. The reason why is because Vegas is trying to say something. But Vegas making them -3.5 at Kent State shows that hey, they're afraid of Akron's ability to light up the scoreboard like that, and they'll probably score more points than they did the last game. I think that was their season low in conference. They scored the last game too. I think it was like 60 something points.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Most of the public also agrees with you. Sharp money is kind of split here, but overall, 70 to 80% believe that Akron is going to dominate this game. And I played that on FanDuel -3.5 at -115. You there, or did I lose you? Or did I lose me?
My bad, it was on mute. Akron's also one of those teams, guys, kind of like George Washington. If they win, they're going to win by like 5 plus usually. If they lose, they lose. It's one of those teams. Like I like looking at that too because it's very key. Because if you see a team that loses by 1 or 2 a lot, it's 3.5 can be kind of concerning or win by that much. But my final play, I think me and you like this is it's been moving up and down. I think right now on Fanatics you can get it from -125. But I like Michigan money line here or Michigan -1. I saw on Fanatics was -110. But Michigan, honestly, they're coming off a loss in a non-conference game. I know I talk about Michigan a lot this game. I even mentioned when we were talking before the Duke game, I'm not going to touch this game because it's a non-conference game. Doesn't it matters, but doesn't matter as much to the conference standings. But Michigan is an absolute machine, guys. I like this more them even coming off a non-conference loss. They're well rested. Neither team has played in a little bit, and as much as I love this Illinois team, I think Michigan wins this game. I just think they have the size and rebounding capability to match up with Illinois. Something you're going to see in this game is a bunch of trees running around because those teams are very, very tall, especially the Illinois is at guard. But what I see in this game is Illinois is one of the top teams in the nation. I think these 2 teams are 1 and 2 in like offensive efficiency, but Illinois' defense is not as good as Michigan's defense, and that's where I see the biggest discrepancy. Michigan plays well on the way or home, and some of Illinois' losses, Michigan dominated. Like Illinois, has played like UCLA, Purdue, and they played what was the game they yeah, like they played UCLA, the game they just blew, and Michigan just dominated some of those teams. So I would say give me Michigan here outright or the -1. I just think they're going to outclass them, and they're going to score a lot more points than they will.
Speaking of boosts, you can get a 30 to 50%. I forget exactly which one on DK right now, and I took the money line there. I am scared of noise, but if there's anybody's opinion that I trust, it's yours, buddy. And
Yeah,
front money's
because
with you, so that helps me kind of make that pick too.
yeah, because like if there's one team that I would bet against Illinois at home, it would probably be Michigan basketball because Michigan hasn't lost a conference game at all since that Wisconsin game. Actually, that was the only game that they've lost in conference, and they're on a big streak with that. Illinois is going to be fine if they lose this game, but I think Michigan wants to get this one seed very bad, right? And also if you look at it. Michigan has Iowa and Michigan State left, so I think they want this game a lot. I think Michigan will probably beat Iowa, but Illinois, they have. Let me see, Drew. They have after this, they have Oregon and Maryland. And another key factor to this is even though Michigan is probably going to win the conference and they stand alone right now, I think Michigan wants to make sure they make a statement. I know people. I know one of my buddies said they were worried that Michigan has like a 3 game lead and they don't mind dropping games, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think they're going to want to basically establish dominance in this conference and try to win as many games as they can before the tournament.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the opinion where, oh, this team's ahead, they can just coast. I don't think that Michigan is the type of team to do that in any which way, shape, or form. They're gonna take the bully ball approach and try to get up as much
Yeah,
as possible.
and they're too
In
well
this,
coached for that.
yeah, yeah. In this game specifically, I know we've talked about Michigan live betting in the past. Is this a game where Michigan's going to have to come out strong and dominate, or do you think that they can kind of ease into the game a little bit? I guess what I'm asking for is if we see Illinois go up early, should we be worried or should we just hammer Michigan?
So yeah, if you see, it's kind of similar to the Purdue factor, in my personal opinion. Like we saw Purdue go up 7-2, and then I think that opening spread was like -2.5. And then I took Michigan money line went up 7-2 because Michigan is one of those teams that will ease in the game and no lead is safe with them. It's crazy. Like I saw a stat where how much time Michigan has actually been down during conference play. It's insane. But this is a great live betting opportunity. If you see Michigan go down, I would say 5 early. I would definitely do an extra live bet on Michigan if you want to feel more comfortable and not like if the game starts out like 7-2 again. And if you wanted to see if it goes like halfway through the first quarter, they're still down 5 and bet it, then you can. I would stay away from it if you see Michigan go by double digits early. But then look what it will be at halftime. But I think Michigan going down, I would never be concerned because they have the firepower to come back. Because remember, we saw Michigan, I think, start out that Purdue game in general. I think they were down 7-2 and they won the half by like 20. So, I mean, they're a crazy team.
Yep, yep, and yep. All right. Anything else in college basketball?
Um, yeah, I'll say one more thing. Of course, since we don't have something tomorrow. I'm not going to, of course, do a full analysis, but we do have a big game. I think on Saturday. It's one of the first games. We have Virginia at Duke. It's like +9.5 for Virginia. That's going to be a really exciting game. Both teams are really good in the ACC. Virginia is a good team. Something I'm thinking of Stern in this is since Duke is home. I kind of like the 9.5. I think they can win that game by double digits. So that's a lean that I'm looking at. And then we also have Kansas at Arizona. Kansas is +8.5. I'm a Kansas fan. I am personally worried about that game. I think Arizona is going to be out for revenge and want to destroy us. But I can see Kansas trying their best to keep it close, in my personal opinion. But the 8.5 kind of does scare me, so I would recommend to probably stay away from that game. If you would pick a side, pick Arizona. Those are
How
my
about
2 games I noticed.
how about taking those two games and putting a halftime full time money line parlay on both of them?
Yeah, on Arizona and Duke.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's something I'll say. I'm completely unbiased. Like, even though I'm a Kansas fan, like I think Arizona beats us. Like when it comes to that. Yeah, I would say Arizona halftime, full time would probably be if 8.5 spread, like -140, -150, and Duke will probably be like -180. So yeah, I wouldn't mind both those. I'll be some plus money right there.
All right, something I'll be looking at. Hopefully, the lines drop tonight or today at some point. All right, let's move on to real basketball. No, I'm just kidding. The hard court for professional basketball. I don't know how to say that nicely. The NBA. We get big news. Shai Gillis is supposed to be back tonight. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
I might be wrong, but my research tells me that he is back, which
Okay.
explains the -8.5 spread against the Denver Nuggets. I get that
Yes.
Oklahoma's home, but like you're not getting eight 8 points against the Nuggets anytime unless Shai is back. So I'm pretty sure Shai is expected to be back. I can't I love that number. I'm not gonna lay the all the points, but what I will do is I will take another spread parlay. This cashed out for me the last few times. I'm going to take the Thunder -2.5, and I'm going to take the Celtics -9.5. It's the Celtics' turn to play the Nets, and I'm just going to continue fading the Nets aggressively until they tell me to stop. And I don't think that's going to be this year, might not even be next year. Any thoughts there?
So actually, one of the play I like in this game because I don't understand it personally. Um, what is like? Why is the why is the total only 234? I think some places 235, 233.5. Because if Shea is back, this total is going to be massive because both teams can score. You know, especially when you have Jamal Murray and Jokic on the court. And I think the last time these two teams played, like Jokic and like Jamal Murray had limited minutes, and I'm pretty sure it was a pretty high scoring game the last two times these guys played. I forgot what it was exactly, but the final score, but I know it was like pretty absurd. So I kind of like the over in this game, if anything.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I believe that the reason why the total is probably where it is I think Denver's coming from a back-to-back night traveling.
Oh, yeah,
They're
that makes
playing
sense.
a pretty good defensive team in Oklahoma. They're getting Shy back. They could just dominate possession. But to your point, 45% of the public is on the under, while 70% of the sharp money is on the over. So over seems to be a good play here.
Oh, I was wrong. The last game these two teams played, it was 232 in that case. But that was also I remember they were still missing some of like their pieces, and I was watching that game too. The Nuggets just went on a massive scoring drought, which I don't see happening again personally. And I was in Denver too. Usually scoring gets suppressed in Denver, so
Well, yeah, you get
yeah,
real
tired.
tired real quick. If there
Yeah.
is
So
no better example of that than the Buffalo Bills going
oh,
into
Josh
Mile
Allen
High
was
City,
exhausted.
just everybody was exhausted. You could see the linemen with their hands on their knees and everyone huffing and puffing. That was insane. I'm definitely the prime example of, hey, you know what? You're going into altitude and it could affect even elite athletes. All right. Anything else in the NBA? Those are the two picks that I have, and I put them together as a parlay piece. There are some interesting games going on. Nothing that I
Yes.
really wanted to touch. I'm gonna give it to you though. Anything you want to talk about?
Nothing, no like really official plays, but the game that I found interesting was the Cavs at Pistons game. Like the spread, I think is like +6.5 or something, right? I found that it's like +6 on Fanatics,
You
but
can get minus
I
5.5 on
yeah.
FanDuel.
Honestly, this is one of the first times I can say that spread looks just right. You know what I mean? It's like it's too scary to take either side there. So I was looking at that one, and that was the only one. 'Cause I think there's only like 5 games today. So yeah, I'm not really interested in the taking the Brooklyn Nets and Celtics. I know -18, like they probably do cover that, but that's too scary. And then the Grizzlies Mavericks, I don't really care for either of those two teams. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely no thank you on that game. That's not a game that anybody should really. I mean, unless you're looking at player props, I maybe I can see some, like Jackson going off or something, but I'm not interested in touching that. And yeah, you're right. The Celtics Nets line -18.5 or set -17.5 in some places was just too much. That's why I brought it down to 9.5 because this Nets team is just
Yeah, that's smart.
terrible. And even if Boston lets off the gas, which I don't necessarily think that they do, but even if they do, I think the almost a double digit spread is very, very, very playable. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's move on to the NHL here. We got also just a few games here. Sabres, Panthers. The Panthers look like a solid team, although I will say there is some value on the money line on Buffalo. I'm going to go though to the late game. Winnipeg Jets versus the Anaheim Ducks. I'm going to take the Ducks. I think that there's a lot of value here on them. I just don't really understand this line. The sharp money is definitely on it, and you get the better goalie. So I'm going to take the goaltending advantage and just play the Ducks here on the money line minus 125. Any thoughts on there?
Yeah, I actually like is Hellebuck playing?
I'll have to double check that. Um,
Because I'm gonna say, oh no, he isn't. Let me see.
no, 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 no. That was a part of it. He is not
Oh, he
listed.
was okay. Yeah, it's he can get any meal he wants in America, but too bad he plays for a Canadian team. But um, did you? It'd be funny if he got booed when he does start to play. But um, something I will say, I do like your Ducks pick a lot. Uh, I might have to definitely tail that. Like, I don't understand this line. Like you said, they have the better goalie. I trust their offense way more than I trust the Jets offense, so I like that a lot.
Which is not something that I would have started the season out saying at all.
No,
They
yeah.
have impressed me a lot, and I've lost a lot on them over the not a lot, but I've lost a little bit watching them score.
Oh yeah, it's absurd. And also shout out to the Orioles yesterday for scoring a lot of goals again. Like their offense has been insane. I guess um
That was
uh
insane. That was an
yeah, I
insane
know.
offensive production. I was on the other side of that game, and that was impressive.
Did Connor play yesterday?
Why, yes, he did, and he had one of the best goals I have seen in recent memory. He had a
I need to watch that.
yeah, the unbelievable. He was like going towards, he was straight up on the goalie, and every single other person would have just shot that. But what did he do? He skated up aggressively. He made the goalie jump for it, and then he just scooted around and bopped it in. That was just one of the best goals I've seen, except for the Olympic goals. That was both. That was the probably the best goal I've seen in a very long time. But in regular season, that was very impressive.
Oh, so I'll say yesterday I kind of called the Jet. Remember I said the Senators Red Wings. I liked the under in that game, and that did hit. Of course I did embed it because hockey I really have bad luck when I do it, but I might make this an official play because I've been hitting these over unders with this kind of stuff. The Nuggets one kind of scares me to bet the over on. Just because of like the defense, but that was one that I was like looking at. But I kind of like this under a lot. I know a lot of people are on the Panthers today, but I like the under in the Sabres Panthers game. I think this is too many points. I mean, too many goals. Sorry, used to saying points. This is too many goals between these two teams, in my personal opinion. And also, just with the fact that the Sabres are really bad at power play percentage. And also the fact that both of these teams are top seven in penny kills percentage too. I just don't see there being seven or more goals scored in this game. So, you know what? I'll take it today. Let's see what happens because I've been hitting it when I call these kind of hockey things out. So let's go with it.
Okay, something to be aware of. The last time these two played, it ended at a 5-3 score for the Sabres, and 83% of the money is on the over. Although to be fair, that the line has been moving, so potentially they took that at over 5.5 goals. Now that the line has moved to over under 6.5 goals, maybe there is a lot of value on the under here as well. But different kind of game with the Panthers at home. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember I mentioned yesterday, it was like the Red Wing centers the previous two games had like eight or more goals or something, and then they slowed down. So it can be kind of one of those factors too in that aspect. But yeah, the Panthers at home are definitely a different beast when it comes to that. And I think, of course, as long as the Panthers make the playoffs, are always contention. They're back-to-back champions. But let me see real quick. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, because what's the odds right now for? the under because I
Uh,
looked at it the other day.
so right now, the best reasonable odds is the over under 6.5 at -115 on both sides. Nope, that's not true. Sorry. The under is -115. The over you can actually get at +100 over on DK.
Okay, I'll do under 6.5 -115. Yep,
Okay,
I'll do
yeah.
it.
I'll
Let's do
sprink
it.
I'll sprinkle on
Yeah,
that, see what happens.
yeah.
It's definitely going to be a fun game, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and of course, something I learned with hockey guys, even if they score 2 goals early in hockey, man, they can not score the rest of the way, or they can keep scoring. That's like the crazy thing. Like betting overs can be scary in hockey sometimes because, like, I saw one time the Sharks was like a 3-1 game against the Rangers in the first period, and they didn't score the rest of the way. And I was like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in NHL before we move on to soccer? We have a
Nope.
special lean and a play from our main man, Prince, who couldn't be here today. But this is going to be in the FIBA World Cup qualifying match between India and Qatar. And I'm just reading the notes here because I am not familiar with this tournament at all. But India is being very undervalued here, according to Prince. I quote, they do suck, but they are also a lot better than Qatar, who is not a good team. This is way too many points. He has a lean on the under at 150.5, but his official play here is India plus 26.5 at -120 versus Qatar. This goes off at 2 p.m. Eastern. I don't know anything about this, but I'm definitely going to be betting it. And just so you guys are aware, we did bet the USA over, I think it was Dominican Republic last night. The Dominican Republic was also like a 20-point underdog. And not only did they cover the spread, but they outright beat the USA last night. And I think, Drew, you were on that play with us, right?
Oh no, I actually wasn't.
Well, good for you because we lost a lot of money on it. Which will happen. It does. All right. I'm gonna start going into soccer here. I have two plays for you. One has been approved by Prince himself. The first play, though, he also links, but it is plus money. Bayer Leverkusen. I really, really like Bayer Leverkusen here to score in both halves. This is at plus 145 right now on DK. I like I could take their team total over 1.5 also. Um, I like that. They're playing Mainz. Mainz is not very good right now. I don't think that this is also in the Bundesliga. Sorry if I didn't mention that before, but Leverkusen is just an offensive powerhouse. I would find it hard to believe that they don't score in the first half, and I find it hard to believe they won't score in the second half. So getting plus 140 or plus 145 for them to score in both halves seems just like a gift of a line here. I'm going to be watching it every single time Leverkusen comes out. You know that they're going to give it their all. This is going to be a really fun Bundesliga match. So, yeah, half a unit plus 145. You get a nice payout. It's basically, it's basically the same payout as if paying a full unit on them to score 1.5 goals or 2+ goals. So, I'm going to take that play. The second play here is going to be a 3-leg parlay. Oh, and by the way, all these soccer plays are going off tomorrow, Saturday, not today. So if you're looking for it today, it's not going to be there. I'm going to take the Bayern Munich Dortmund game over 2.5 goals. That's going to be a banger of a game. If you're going to watch any game tomorrow, that's got to be it. I'm going to take Barcelona Villarreal over 2.5 goals. That's also going to be a very, very exciting game. And I'm going to take Inter Milan to just score at least 1 goal. Parlay those together at minus 121 over at Caesars. I don't see how this one loses as our main man EC. Tell me how this loses. Um, yeah, this is going to be the every single one of these games is phenomenal. I think Inter Milan is upset and pissed off that they were embarrassed in the Champions League this week. Bayern Munich, Dortmund, both of those teams can score. I think it was 20 out of the last 24 head-to-head matches have gone over the 2.5 mark. So no question there. And Barcelona as well and Villarreal. This is just high scoring, high intensity games that should proceed with goals all around. I know you don't really necessarily do soccer so much, but do you have any thoughts on here?
No thoughts on mine. I'm just learning and listening.
Okay, and it's something to keep in mind here. I know that betting against Barcelona because over 2.5 goals, you're pretty much you're not betting on it, but you're opening up the possibility that Villarreal can score two. Barcelona is missing their midfielders, one midfielder, sorry, their main midfielder, and that's just going to open up some counter attacks for Villarreal to also score. And Barcelona hasn't been impenetrable as of late, so I really do like the over 2.5 goals there. And if you just wanted to play Inter Milan team total over 1.5 goals by itself, or Barcelona Villarreal over 3.5 goals at plus money, or even Bayern Munich and Dortmund over 3.5 goals, I like all those plays individually as well. I think all of them have great value. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for soccer. I am going to try to see if I can get anything for the EPL on Sunday. But comes first first comes first serve. Nope, that's not right. I'm going to take a look at the MMA UFC fight night. That's going to be really where I want to get involved. I've had mixed success so far, but I think that we're going to keep narrowing down the possibilities and what I'm learning as we go. And I'm going to take Moreno versus Kavanaugh. I don't have an official play yet, but I do think that there is value on the underdog in multiple spots, including that one. But that's going to be it for me for my sports picks. Do you have any thoughts here, man?
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty big fan of UFC. Um, there's some things I do like in that card. For the UFC fight night. I also like UFC fight nights as well, because like there's some not as well known people. I think a sleeper pick for that game, one that I'm thinking of, is picking actually as the underdog to win. I like Kavanaugh to possibly win that game, especially I mean, not game, that fight, especially of how good Kavanaugh has been, and I think it's a great upset because personally, Kavanaugh has a slight edge in both striking volume and grappling compared to Moreno. And Moreno, I believe, is 5-5 in the last 10 UFC fights. So we'll see how that fight night goes, but I like that slate.
Yeah, I haven't picked it yet. I'm gonna go dive in after this call, but I think I like Kavanaugh plus 5.5 on the spread. And just for the listeners here, because this was a sharp learning experience for me personally, plus 5.5 spread means that you combine all the judges' scorecards from every single round and you add it up together. So let's say it's a 3 round match. It's 2-1, right? Everyone, all the judges go 2-1. If you had the plus 3.5, you would win that spot. Complicated, but if one of those judges scores it 3-0 or 3-0, and the
Yep.
other two do 2-1, you lose the plus 3.5 on the spread. Very important. Didn't understand this last year, and I got very upset.
Yeah, that's huge because like people say like, oh, it should like he should be able to get one round. I was like, no, sometimes it can change because like if, for
One
example,
judge.
Moreno, yeah, Moreno does like a sweep, but then all of a sudden, if you see that, like, because honestly, if he wins one round, then you're pretty much set for plus 5.5. So yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I think it's a 3 round fight.
No, Moreno should be a 5 round. It's the main card. I might be wrong.
Usually they only do it for title fights. I may be wrong. I don't know. I
I'll
would
have
have to
to
double check that.
Yeah, we'll double check that.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely put that into my article. I always release it for premium members today on Friday, and then I open it up to the public on Saturday, maybe in a few hours before the fight. My biggest underdog that I like so far, I haven't bet it yet, but I am looking at a very juicy plus 390 number, is Green. I think that there is significant value on King Green here. I just don't really understand the number so much. Like I get that Zellhuber is a phenomenal fighter, and that the striking difference is pretty big, but I think that plus 390 number is way too big, and I'm gonna see how much I'm gonna put on that.
I like the fight to go the distance in that game. I mean that fight.
Yeah, that's a good look too. And honestly,
Yeah.
if it goes the full length, you can get plus 7.5 on the spread at minus 105 on TK. So maybe that's also a look that I'll put in as well.
I do agree with you. I think that's too big of an underdog number for King Green.
Yeah, there are some really heavy underdogs here. You have a minus 610. You have a multiple minus 300s, a minus 400. There's a lot of minus 620. There's a minus 660. There's a lot of heavy favorites here, and I don't. They're not all going to win. Just got to pick the spots and hope that you're right. But that's why we have models to try to edge that out for us, you know.
Exactly.
All right, let's recap our best bets, man.
Yeah,
Why
for
don't you lead us
sure.
off?
I have Miami, Ohio halftime, full time paired with Knicks money line, and then I have George Washington -3.5, and then I have Akron -3.5, and then Michigan money line, and then Sabres Panthers under 6.5 goals.
I love it. I'm going to be taking in the NBA a two-leg parlay. Celtics -9.5 parlay with the Thunder -2.5 with the main man Shai Gillis being back at -116 over at FanDuel. In the NHL, I'm taking the Anaheim Ducks money line at -125. Love that one. Saturday, I'm taking two soccer plays, Bayer Leverkusen to score both halves at plus 140. Now you can get at plus 145. And a three-leg parlay between possibly the three most exciting games on the slate. Bayern Munich, not the same thing as Bayer Leverkusen. I'm taking Bayern Munich, Dortmund, game total over 2.5, Barcelona Villarreal over 2.5, and Inter Milan just to score one goal. You're going to get that at minus 121 over at Caesars. Thank you guys so much for listening. We have crushed the 2,000 download listens in our first 35 days, which I think is very, very impressive. Starting to get actually people reaching out because we're starting to get more well known and into the algorithm. So if you guys can continue liking our stuff, that would be awesome. We really appreciate it. For me, SternBets, main man Drew, and Prince, who couldn't be here today, thank you for listening. Have an awesome, awesome weekend.